Hi everyone, this is Happy Bird from happybirdsglitternest.blogspot.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful little jar filled with candy, just from an old jar. And I'll also show you how I got this beautiful texture painting. It was very easy to put together. I didn't go out and buy a single thing to make this jar. You can put any type of candy you want in this jar. You can even put candy canes. You can get, I think, a dozen of those for $1 right now. And there's just a lot of things you can do with this. If you want, you don't have to put candy at all. You can put a beautiful pink bouquet of roses, or maybe even white roses. Just depends on what you'd like. So with that said, stay tuned and I'll show you exactly how I put all of this together just with the supplies that I had on hand. Now you're going to need a jam or a jelly jar of some kind, and don't worry about the lids. We're not going to mess with the lids. You just need the jars. Now as you can see, I already put one coat of paint on this, but I'm going to put a second coat of paint. Use white multi-surface paint. This is just Waverly paint and in white. And you're going to need these sponges. Now I purchased these from the Dollar Tree. You get 2 sponges per package, and you want the kind that's the cheap foam. You don't want the sponges that are the real sponges on here. You want this cheap foamy type of sponge. And you can cut these into 6 pieces with your scissors, and they make a beautiful texture on your jar. And the reason why I'm making this jar without the lid is because I want to show you how you can make lovely Christmas gifts for little to no money at all. Okay? Now, like I said, this one does not have a lid, and it's better that way anyway because of what we're going to put in it. Alright, so I'm going to put a little bit of this white paint onto a paper plate, and I've already given this jar 1 coat, but we're going to give it a second coat, okay? And what I like to do is I like to dip the sponge in there and then just kind of do this to get some of the paint off. Alright? And you're just going to do this. And look at the lovely texture these sponges leave. Isn't it pretty? And it dries that way too. So give it 1 coat and allow it to dry. Make sure you do the bottom too. Allow it to dry until it doesn't feel tacky, and then you're going to come in and do the second coat. We did all around the lid and up at the top here like this. Okay, see how pretty inside? So look in your stash, grab some multi-surface white paint, and then give your jars 2 coats. Alright? Now once I do this and it thoroughly dries, I'm going to speed up the drying time. I have a tabletop fan, and I'm going to put it in another room with the door shut because it'll be cold with the fan on. And I'm going to speed up the drying time. So as soon as this is totally dry, we'll come back and I'll show you how we're going to decorate this. Okay, so as you can see, this is totally dry now. There's not one little bit of tackiness to it. And you can see the inside of the jars. Everything looks really nicely covered. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this opal glitter medium, and I bought this a while back with my coupon. I believe I got this for 40% off at Hobby Lobby. And so if you have this, you can use this. If not, you can take ultra fine glitter and use Mod Podge. And if you're not too sure whether you want to cover your whole jar in it, just take a little area at the bottom and see what it would look like once you put the Mod Podge on and the ultrafine glitter and allow it to dry. And if you don't like it, you can just go back in with your sponge and dab a little bit of white paint over it, and nobody will know any different. Okay? So, like I said, I bought this at Hobby Lobby. It's Masters Touch Fine Art Studio. That's the brand name of it. See? Isn't that pretty? Alright, so I'm going to start by putting some on this brush, and I'm just going to do this. And I think it just turns out so lovely. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it under the light. It just gives it just that added little touch of glitter. And this will dry on here rock hard. It does take a little time to dry, so once I put this on, I'm just going to let this sit overnight, okay? So I'll go ahead and continue to do this all the way around the entire jar, including up here on the rim, just for the heck of it. And I'm going to let this dry overnight, and then we'll come back in the morning and I'll show you what it looks like. And then we'll just continue decorating the jar. Okay, so I was going to leave this overnight, but it only took about 4.5 hours to dry completely. And then I gave it one more coat of the opal glitter medium. So there's 2 coats on here, and it's dry, and of course it doesn't flake off at all. That's one thing I love about this opal glitter medium, is that when it dries, you can't, there's no glitter whatsoever. So you can use any image you want, but I'm choosing to use this image that I purchased a while back from Creative Belle on Etsy, and her name is spelled Creatifbelle, and I printed it out on photo paper. Now I did cut it down a little more, simply because I wanted it to fit this jar. So I'm going to take some Beacon Fabri-Tac, and I'm going to put some glue on it. I had originally glued this onto something else, and I decided not to use it, so I carefully peeled it off. Okay, so let me put this on the jar here. Let me pull this down just a little bit, like so. Yeah, I think this will work. I'm going to take a couple of rubber bands and put this just like so, just to kind of hold it into place while it dries, and when that's finished we'll be back. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to use is this glitter ribbon here, and it's 3/8 of an inch wide, and I believe I purchased this at Michael's. I'm not positive though, because it was last year. And I'm going to just take a piece that I cut and glue this part right around the bottom part of the jar here, like that. Okay, I'm do it all the way around with Fabri-Tac, and I can't say enough about this Fabri-Tac. I think it's wonderful. So if you have anything that you need to glue on as far as fabrics or paper crafts, and it'll even glue metal to glass where the end is at the back. There we go. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay. There we go. That looks a little better, doesn't it? And then at the very back, we have that. Really can't see it all that much, but I guess I'm a little picky when it comes to things like that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to glue these pearls on all the way around, like that. So let's start at the back. And this Fabri-Tac does dry completely clear, so I'm not real worried about it. And now that's starting to fall, but that's okay because it'll dry quickly. Alright. That glue just rolls off. It feels rubbery. Okay. And this does dry fairly quickly, so that's one thing nice about it. Let me get all this junk off the end. See, I just took it off with my fingers, and I can just roll it on my fingers, and it rolls right off. Okay. Alright, so we have this part, and I think I might put maybe a row down here. Let's see, should I put a row down here? Like that? Or maybe, let's check and see what it looks like with the rhinestones. I also have some rhinestones that are 4mm. So maybe that would be nice. Yeah, maybe I'll do the rhinestones, the 4mm. Let me see if I can, yeah, looks like I can cut it off right here. Like that. Okay. You can use any trims you want. This is just what I have in there that I'm using. I'm not going out and buying anything new. I'm just using up what I have. Okay. And I think I'm going to start here at the back. Make sure this is on here where it's supposed to be. Okay. I'm going to go all the way around with this. why not? Let's see what happens. Okay, now I'm going to start at the back. And once again, this will dry clear. So I'm going to hold the end like that. And then just go all the way around. There we go. I'm gonna give this part a chance to dry a little because I don't want to mess anything up. Okay, so I'm gonna give this maybe half an hour or so, just enough to grab on to this, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I cut some more pearls to wrap around this part like that. So I'm going to take my Fabri-Tac and I'm just going to put this around here at the bottom part. All the way around. Okay, we put the lid on this. Don't want it to dry out. All right, and then I'm just going to place this right on around like that. Make sure it's sitting on the pearls below so it's nice and even. Yeah, it looks good. All right. I'm going to allow that to dry. Okay, I decided to add one more row of pearls right here before adding any chain. So I'm just going to go all the way around here. Okay, there we go. Alright, and then we'll place this right here. Okay, that's the back. Alright, so just going to allow this to dry for about 20 minutes, then I'll add the chain at the very top maybe, or should I just leave it like that? What do you think? Well, we'll let that dry and then we'll see. Okay, so it's not completely dry, but I just dried it enough to where I can handle the chain and put this one last piece at the top. Okay, so I always like to start the back here. I don't know why, but so I'm just gonna move this on around the very edge here. There we go. Alright, so I'll go ahead and put that cap back on this. And then I'm just going to do this. Make sure that it's nice and even. I'm going to go around the top like that. Make sure that the chain is sitting where it's supposed to be. Okay, let's move this up a little more. And then up a little more at the top. That's how we make it nice and even. Make sure that it's right here sitting at the top. Yeah. Okay. That's looking good, I think. Yeah. One thing I love about this Fabri-Tac is it does give you time to move the chain around. If you use something like hot glue, you won't have any time at all to readjust this chain. Once it's on there, it's on there, you know? You can kind of perfect things as much as possible. Okay, so I think this is looking pretty good. It'll start to grab in a moment. Whoa! Okay, that's the back. Okay. So I think that looks really good at the top. Okay, there is a little bag rattling in this part of the video, so if you're sensitive to that, please turn on your closed captions right now. Okay, so I have this tissue paper from the Dollar Tree. It has little sparkles on it, and so I'm going to cut half of one piece of tissue. Okay, just going to cut it right in half. Okay. And then I'm going to gently wad it up like this, just gently. Slide this in here, and I'm going to kind of tap it down. Oh, you know what? Let's get something else here. Maybe this will fit in here. Yeah. I'm going to just kind of press it down a little, like this. You can use anything you want to press it down. Spoon, anything. Okay, so you can choose any candy of your choice. My grandson and I love the Ghirardelli squares, the dark chocolate peppermint bark. So I'm going to be placing some of these in there. Okay. Let's see. I bet you I can get 2 at the bottom, and maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 7 total. And let's see if I can fit 2 more in there. Seven, 8. I don't know, I'm not going to squeeze them because, no. Okay, about 8. So if you put half of one piece of tissue, you can put 2 sitting flat at the bottom, and then 6 kind of sticking out like that. Alright? And this would make a lovely centerpiece to give to anyone, and didn't cost a ton of money because I already had the bits and pieces. So go through your stash and see what you have, and even if you don't want to dress yours up shabby chic like I did mine, you can still make some really cute jars with just the base of the white paint and the glitter. You can deck it out in reds, greens, or maybe blues and silvers or something like that. You could even bling out a snowflake. I've got a couple of tutorials on that. And you can even just glue the snowflake right here in the front. That would be really pretty. So even if you don't have any images that you'd like to use, you can do something like that. So I hope you really enjoyed this video, and thank you so very much for sticking with me. And God bless each and every one of you. Take care now. Bye-bye.